Hi there, how are you doing? Okay, so today I want to touch on the topic of home ownership. It is a process and not an overnight decision. It can be very exciting and it's very stressful at the same time. So, the first thing that one needs to consider is getting pre-approved. It is mandatory that that particular process is flushed out entirely before you start looking for a property. In order to qualify for the purchase of a home or a property, one needs to have a mortgage agent or a mortgage broker assess their ability to purchase a property from a mortgage standpoint. So the first thing they look at is your income, and that would be your ability to pay for the debt that you're undertaking. Second is your credit report. Your credit score is very important because that's an indicative of your history in terms of your habits in paying back a debt. The next thing is that they're going to ask that you have proof of your down payment. As a first time buyer, you can put down as little as 5%. And if you're an investor purchasing your second or third or fourth property, you need 20% down payment. And finally, they look at your overall debt. If you have a lot of debt, that's going to diminish your purchasing power. And if you have no debt, then that's great. You're ready to get started. Okay? So before you sign on that dotted line and say, okay, I'm buying this house, you need to consider a few things, and that would be the closing costs. Sometimes we forget about that, especially if it's our first time buying. The closing costs would consist of the land transfer tax in Ontario. Also, there's the lawyer's fees that you have to take into consideration, and it varies from lawyer to lawyer. And also, you have to look at moving expenses. If you're moving from one city to the next, or even one home to another in the same neighborhood, you have to factor in the cost of moving yourself. And one last thing regarding final closing costs and expenses is if you're buying a brand new property that's never been lived in before, then you may be on the hook for the HST if you're going to rent that property out. So keep that in mind. And lastly, before you start house shopping, you need to get yourself a realtor. Get yourself someone who is professional, one who will not cut corners, and also one that you're compatible with. Because as I mentioned at the outset, home buying is a process, not an overnight decision. So if you're going to spend 2 months or even sometimes a year looking for that right property, you need to ensure that the realtor that you're dealing with is someone that you're comfortable with. And that's it for now. Hope that was helpful. Any questions? Let me know. Take care.